is a star-making debut on the horizon for Prairie Pro Wrestling this weekend at Los Slamtos. We've got your inside scoop on this and so much more tonight on Ring Respect Radio. Boom, just like that, it's Thursday night, and you all know what that means. It's party time with us. We're the Video Bros. I'm Bobby Munson, and the man sitting beside me, he's the man with the angelic voice. He is Papa Smokes! Papa Smokes, happy Thursday. How you doing, brother?
Woo, happy Thursday to you, Munson, and to all the wrestling people out there. Pumped to be here for Ring Respect Radio as usual each week. Even more pumped because we're only a couple days out from Los Slamtos, the big PPW show, not to mention a little football game we throw out here in Western Canada known as the Banjo Bowl. Winnipeg Blue Bombers versus Saskatchewan Roughriders. Woo, times don't get much better than this, Munson.
You bet. It's going to be a jammed weekend full of goodness here, Papa Smokes, and a big talk is going to be Prairie Pro Wrestling. We're going to get to that in just a short few minutes here as we bring in, let's say hello to Zach Minger here. He always lightens the mood. Apparently it's National Eat an Extra Dessert Day, Pops, folks. I don't know. I think I've eaten my fair share of extra desserts over the year. I think if anything, I should probably be sharing my extra desserts with other people. So at my age and with the ring around this old waist, I think I got to lay off the extra ones, but happy that Zach brought it up regardless.
All these national days that he brings up are involving food and sounding so tasty. I'm enjoying this so far. I want to celebrate more of these national days.
I wonder what national day. Zach, you got to look this up for us, my friend. What national day is this Saturday, September the 6th? Because I swear, Papa Smokes, people ought to be celebrating because there's nothing like a celebration, especially in the style and the tune of Prairie Pro Wrestling, and that's why we're here tonight. Prairie Pro Wrestling presents Los Slamtos this Saturday. Papa Smokes, we've sold out of all the seats. We've sold a lot of general admission standing room tickets in advance. You will still be able to get some general admission standing room tickets at the door, $20 a pop, but don't be the late stragglers like last time who had to be turned away. PPW, we sell that show out every damn time. And if you want to be part of the hottest show in all of Saskatoon, make sure to secure your tickets. And speaking of this, Papa Smokes, because I like insider things, I like things that we can show here exclusively on our show. And because I have the option to do this, I'm just going to let people preview into something I've done here for the show. Now, I don't know if that's showing up properly on the screen. Let me just take a look. Yes, it is. As you'll see, the reserved seating tickets where I used to handwrite names out by Scratch Pop Smokes now officially have the Prairie Pro Wrestling Los Slamtos poster beside them with the people's names. And if you take a close look, Pop Smokes, I don't know if you're seeing this, not only are there two there for Basser, but officially Bass Jr. has his own nameplate for the show this time around.
Oh, hell yeah. And he definitely deserves it as being one of our top fans, especially one of our top ringside fans. Love Bass and Little Bass. They'll be bringing the noise. They'll be bringing the energy to this show coming up. Can't wait to see those boys.
You bet. And I made a decree, Papa Smokes, recently, and this was at one of the shows we were calling for the Saskatoon Berries when we were outside at the Saskatoon Berries, and I said that crowd was hot. They were loud, they were noisy, and they've had a lot of energy, especially when it comes to outdoors. It's not a confined space, so the energy is harder to feel, but you could feel the energy. So I knew that was a ruckus crowd, and I made a decree. I made the PPW Nation know that I want them to be louder, noisier, crazier, and more energetic than they've ever been before, to prove that they've got energy that's at higher levels than we had this summer at the Berries games. And I'm pretty sure the PPW Nation is going to bring it this Saturday.
Well, that is kind of a tall order, Munson, because those Barrie fans were pleasantly surprised by the quality of wrestling that showed up at their baseball game, and they got into it. I'm not really surprised because the action that was offered from the PPW roster was top notch as usual. But yes, a tall order. But yes, I also believe that our regular PPW crowd down at Cosmo Hall, just off Broadway in Saskatoon, they are going to bring it for this show. This show is Los Slamtos, the go-home show, the blow-off show before our big show, Ring of Horrors, in October. You know that our crowd is going to bring the energy. You know they're going to bring the cheers and the heckling. It's going to be loud. It's going to be wild. I can't wait to be with my camera at ringside doing what we do for every PPW event.
Yes, you're back on the cam, Papa Smokes, and my knees thank you, sir. It's going to be a wild time. The Manglers joining us. Good evening, gentlemen. We'll be bringing the energy. Don't you worry. Look forward to it, my friend. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Mangler, you can answer this. Were you the one that messaged on Instagram to reserve those tickets the other day? Pretty certain you were. But yes, definitely tickets have been reserved in your name to make sure that you are part of the action for Prairie Pro Wrestling presents Los Slamtos. And let's get into it a bit here, Papa Smokes. I said at the top of the hour that, there might be a debut of sorts, and I think we're going to wait a little bit till a few more trickle in here before I drop that bomb. So stay tuned later in the show to get that. You betcha. I'm on the mark with this stuff. I got this all figured out here, Papa Smokes. It pays to be the man behind the socials. I get to know everybody, and then I'm the face at the door. It's how I get to know everybody as well, too. So looking forward to seeing all the nation out there, and as well, Mangler joining us too. It's going to be a fun time. Where am I going with this all? It's PPW Los Slamtos, Papa Smokes, and there's a lot to talk about. We'll get to that hook that I talked about closer to the end here, so that people have a reason to stick around. But let's talk about the title picture, because this is the big thing on the minds of people. Now, as always, card subject to change, so don't take anything you hear tonight as gospel, but this is based on what we have been allowed to know so far. We know that at Beer Wars, Pop Smokes, there weren't one, but two battle royals that took place with the winners receiving a PPW championship shot. Night one saw Riley Cruz pick up this victory. Riley Cruz getting a PPW championship opportunity, and it was said that it would be at Los Slamtos. So as it stands, the PPW championship on the line, Michael Allen, Richard Clark defending against Riley Cruz for the very first time. Papa Smokes, how does this matchup sound to you? And what do you foresee for Riley going into this? Does Riley have the chops to hang with the veteran champion?
Yeah, right off the bat, on paper, this is a very interesting matchup because there are such similarities between Michael Allen, Richard Clark, and Riley Cruz, but many differences as well. I think I'm going to have to see some of this action in the ring before I can really pass judgment on what I think is going to happen, but let's break this down a little bit. The experience advantage definitely goes with Michael Allen, Richard Clark. You know as well as I do, he's been a star around Western Canada and all of Canada really for some time now, since you and I started commentary on High Impact Wrestling. Michael Allen, Richard Clark was much newer, much skinnier, much younger guy back then when he was Orange Crush with the orange trunks and the orange hair and all that stuff. But times have changed since then. He's got many, many, many matches and a lot of traveling on the road under his belt. Michael Allen, Michael Allen Richard Clark is now a veteran of Canadian wrestling, whereas Riley Cruz, much newer to the game, he's been getting a lot of reps in too. He's been getting booked around Canada and a little bit into the States as well. He's building that experience, but really you have to go with that the savvy and the ring generalship of Michael Allen Richard Clark is superior at this time. We can't deny that. So you have to think he's going to use that experience in this match to his advantage against the young energy of Riley Cruz.
You bet. Speaking of energy, Pop Smokes Energy just picked up because Melball's in the house saying, woo, made it in time. Good evening, gentlemen.
Hey, Mel.
Good evening to you, Melball. Anybody who hasn't done so already, go check out the great work that Melball's been doing here at our local establishment with the entire Strong Style fashion and all of the pro wrestling Noah reviews on Noah Unleashed. It's been absolutely fantastic work there. So go check it out. Shout out to you, Mel. But yeah, Pop Smokes, you're 100% correct, right? Like Michael Allen Richard Clark, literally the veteran, has the champion's advantage going into this thing. But Riley Cruz, I mean, again, people underestimate. You know, this guy has picked up a lot of W's in PPW. He's picking up W's all around the globe, everywhere he's traveling. He's a tag team champion here in Saskatchewan, out in the Regina area. Like this, he's definitely getting those accolades. And that's the thing. The champ can't underestimate the challenger in this case because Riley Cruz is young, hungry, and very capable, in my opinion. And if Michael Allen Richard Clark underestimates him for even one moment, which I don't think the champ's about to do, it could spell certain doom for his title run. But there's also another wrench in this whole thing, Pop Spokes. And I mentioned that second battle royal to win an opportunity at a PPW championship. And lo and behold, the Mexican devil himself, El Asesino, went and won himself that second battle royal, Papa Spokes.
Woo!
He has been demanding a title shot for the better part of a year since he beat Michael Allen Richard Clark in the tables, ladders, chairs match at last year's Ring of Horrors. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Papa Smokes, and my math, and I think is mathing pretty decently tonight, but we've already got a title match in place for this Saturday, September 6th. We have a show coming up called The Ring of Horrors on October 25th. And I'm pretty sure the Mexican Devil looks to be luring the champ into his playground. Could El Asesino be a factor in this matchup? And if so, let me ask you this, sir, and I'll ask the audience as well, too. Do you think he's more interested in luring in Michael Allen Richard Clark as the champion to the Ring of Horrors? Or do you think he's more interested in embarrassing Michael Allen Richard Clark and making Riley get that belt and luring him into the Ring of Horrors?
You pose an interesting question, Munson, one that can't be answered easily. I think both of those scenarios are entirely likely. And I mean, far be it for me to try and delve into the evil mind of El Asesino. God only knows what's going on inside that deranged mind of his. But I think either of those scenarios could be likely to happen. We know that this feud between El Asesino and Michael Allen Richard Clark has raged for years. There have been times where it's been quieter, but there are times where it flares up as well. And we've seen a hellacious weapons match in Regina years ago that was everybody touted as being this will finish the feud forever. A street fight that was just absolutely violent and destructive. We've all seen, well, some of us have seen the videos and the pictures from those. Those guys drove each other to the absolute limit. Blood, broken body parts, everything all over the place. People going through tables, chairs going over their heads, chains, ladders, all kinds of weapons were used in this match. And everybody thought this will settle it once and for all because one of these wrestlers is not going to walk away from this carnage. But even though that match lived up to its expectations, it didn't finish it. This feud lied dormant for a few more years after this, and then boom, these two come across each other in Prairie Pro Wrestling. Now the feud is up, flaming like a forest fire, out of control once again. And it's these two giant personalities. It's these two huge egos. Michael Allen, Richard Clark, really, really taking to the fans, really adoring the fans and their love. And El Assassino, the absolute opposite. The guy who doesn't give a damn about the fans. The guy that wishes harm upon the fans every time he gets in front of them. They have the same giant ego. It's just from opposite sides of the mirror. So what's going to happen? Again, they want to destroy each other. They don't believe that they can coexist in the same wrestling federation, and they're the opposites of each other. They're each other's shadow. They want to get rid of each other out of this picture completely. Not only out of the title picture, not only dethroning someone as champion, but putting them out of professional wrestling. This is what it's come down to. You know that El Assassino is not going to stop until he gets Clark in a match that is suiting of bringing this feud to a bloody end. Finally, we've had the chairs match, we've had the TLC match, we've had all kinds of matches, but El Assassino wants to put Michael Allen, Richard Clark out of the game for good. Now, you also bring up an interesting possibility with Riley Cruz. Could this be Assassino's plan all along to use the word you used, lure Riley Cruz into a championship situation and then victimize the younger man, the less experienced and probably less violent-minded wrestler than El Assassino? That's the kind of opportunity that he would love to take, because in his eyes, he would just pluck that championship belt off of Riley Cruz, put it around his waist, then watch what happens to PPW with this guy at the helm. You thought the Sheikh Akbar Shabazz was a terrifying champion. Wait till you get a load of this guy. If he manages to get a stranglehold around the belt, this could be really serious for PPW.
A dark cloud is inevitably looming across all of Prairie Pro Wrestling right now, and the only saving grace is that if Michael Allen, Richard Clark gets out of this match with the belt, and he does go up face to face with El Assassino, that we know he's not afraid to get into that fight. He's not afraid to go to the levels that El Assassino is willing to go to. So we know it'll be absolute brutality. And El Assassino is going to have to be on his absolute A game. The thing I fear is if he calls for it at the Ring of Horrors, Papa Smokes, he's unbeaten there. El Assassino is unbeaten at the Ring of Horrors. And it's almost like an evil energy looms across him. And he builds and builds and builds until he gets you there. He drags you into it. And that's when he can be at his most brutal, most violent, and most dangerous.
For sure. And none of this is to sell Riley Cruz short. Riley Cruz is an up-and-coming superstar in PPW. And talk about El Assassino's negative energy that he brings to the ring. What about Riley Cruz? He's the ultimate Saskatoon metalhead. He brings the power of power chords to the ring every time he does it. He brings the power of Metallica and Megadeth and Testament and Exodus and all the good thrash bands that he listens to, and the energy of their music and the violence of their music. He's got it flowing through his body like blood. So when he gets in the ring, when you see him stomping up those ring steps, swinging the hair around and doing the headbanging, it's not for show, Munson. This is what this young man feels inside. It's something to be reckoned with. The power of metal will be on display at Los Slamtos against Michael Allen, Richard Clark. And if Riley Cruz ends up facing, as the champion, El Assassino, you bet he's going to bring that metallic energy to that match as well. And that's something to be taken seriously as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, Papa Spokes, I said, not for 1 second can the veteran Michael Allen Richard Clark take his mind off of the match with Riley Cruz or underestimate his opponent. The challenger is very capable in getting it done all across the globe. I mean, we're talking about a rising star who wants to cement his name. He wants to make that big power move. And I wouldn't be shocked if that power move was to step up to the current champion and take his belt from him. So the only way you're going to be able to find out, well, two ways. You can wait a long ass time till I get that video uploaded to YouTube for you, which we appreciate, y'all. We appreciate you, and we'll get to you. Or you could just pay a low fee of $15 in advance for general admission standing room tickets to Los Slamtos this Saturday, and you will see it live and in person. That's the best way to experience Prairie Pro Wrestling. Now, Papa Smokes, outside of the title picture, or at least the singles championship picture, we got tag team belts. We got a tag team division. We got tag teams all over the place. And, you know, I did put it out there that if anyone wanted to leave a question or a comment on social media to give back to us, to read out here on the air, that I'd consider it. So I did that. There is one that came in, and this one in particular is going to get read out. And it's from a young man, I think by the name of Barack Garani. I think we've heard of this young man before too, but Barack Garani reached out and he says, see what you boys have to say about the most dominant tag team. Just remember, we'll see you at the show. Well, I replied and I said, you don't have to worry, sir. We always talk positively about the PPW champions, the Short Kings, who are going to be close to that 1 year mark, 1 year in October, since the Short Kings became the very first and only Prairie Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions. But yes, Mr. Barack Garani is right. There is this looming presence of Paralira, who did have a couple of cracks at the titles across the weekend when we were at Beer Wars and the Berries games, Papa Spokes. They didn't quite get the job done then, but I can guarantee you Paralira have gone back to the drawing board, are not done with their knocking at the door, trying to get a tag title shot. I can't guarantee it. I don't know who's all going to be involved in a tag team title picture this time around, but there is no, and I hate to use this pun, nothing short of a long list of opponents asking for an opportunity at the champs.
Well, that was a very stinky pun, Munson, but it was quite fitting as well. And you're completely right about that. We just talked about Michael Allen Richard Clark in the singles championship in Prairie Pro Wrestling. He's got a tentative hold on that belt. It's he's got people all around him trying to take that title from him. But think of the tag team picture as well. I mean, the Short Kings have been successful thus far in being our first PPW Tag Team Champions, but they've been just barely holding on to those belts with some of the stiff competition in the tag team ranks that have been kicking around PPW over the past year and a half or so. Not even just to bring up the initial teams that were giving them fits off of the very beginning. The Clandestine Society, Stephen Crow and Michael Richard Blaze, always trouble in the tag team division. Those two work together like one wrestler. They have all those tandem tag team maneuvers that really weaken their opponents. How about Bucky McGraw and the Brotherhood? These two monsters, these two giant men, the Dixie Dragon and Jacob Creed, the Crazed Cowboy. These guys don't give a damn about the health of their opponents. They come in looking to knock people out. They go in there looking to take other tag teams out of the picture. They're just, and under the tutelage of wrestling's most intelligent man, Bucky McGraw, they're nearly unstoppable. They've been so close to taking those tag team titles all this time. We even have other teams, newer teams such as Rich King and Dean Richter. I mean, they're new on the scene, but they're looking good as well. There are a couple of other tag teams, but wow, the one that's made the biggest splash over the past months is what you just brought up a few minutes ago. Bharat Garani and Sheikh Akbar Shabazz as Paralira. They have showed themselves to be an extremely dangerous tag team. They're looking like the Road Warriors in the 1980s. they're looking like they're just going to steamroll everybody else in this division. And yeah, they've had a few matches, a few wins, not quite getting the job done towards the tag team titles. But you know they're sharpening their knives. You know they're getting ready for this. And you know that once they get an opportunity on the big stage down at Cosmo Hall, they're going to make the best of it. The Short Kings, you better be ready. Because if one of you gets up on the Sheik's shoulders and you take that finishing maneuver known as murder, that match is over, and those belts are going to Paralira. So I'm not trying to predict anything here, but Short Kings, you better have your A game ready when Paralira comes to call, because they're gonna be 100% serious about taking you guys off that tag team throne.
You bet, yeah. And Papa Smokes, you've done enough puckering up now to Paralira, so I think that you're safe this Saturday when they cross your path. I'm not so sure if my kind little jabs and gestures will go over as well with the team of Sheik Akbar Shabazz and Barack Arati, but they have been dominating coming in. They came in with a bang, declared that the Tall Kings are here, and they've been running amok, Papa Smokes. And while they've had a couple of opportunities, they've also been the only team in a non-title sense to hold a victory over the champions. The only ones to have beat the Short Kings thus far have been Paralira, and that's something that's got to be said about that, and something that's got to be said about the fact that that's all it takes is one time for that amazing tag team streak, that tag team title run to come to a crushing end. And can you imagine the heartbreak we'll see in all the young fans at ringside wearing their Short Kings yellow shirts and all the different Short Kings merch that they come dressed in every time? The heartbreak those young kids are going to feel. And I'm not just talking if it was Paralira, but Paralira wins or the Brotherhood wins. If either one of those teams were to come in and take the belts off the champions, those young PPW fans will be crushed.
Oh, absolutely. You want to talk about merch here? I like the Short Kings. I like them a lot, and they have cool merch, and a lot of fans buy it. They're very popular around here. But you know, Papa Smokes, Munson, I'm a jacked and juicy guy all the way. So Paralira coming out with also some merch momentum and some ring momentum. They're coming hard for these belts, and they're not going to stop till they get them. So Reed Matthews and Mars, the specialist, you guys better have eyes on the back of your head. You better get ready, because if they hit that murder move on you, boy, it's finished.
Well, in case Barat happens to tune in or anything, Papa Smokes, I mean, I think you've praised him enough, and I know you've got the Jack Juicy Certified Beauty t-shirt that's available at all Prairie Pro Wrestling shows from Paralira. You know, maybe, just maybe, there's a chance that Barat might sneak you in one of those jacked and juicy loggers that they've got there out in the Edmonton area. I'm sure that Papa Smokes would love to add that to his collection. Now, you know, like once the can's all cleaned up after polishing the drink off that's inside of it.
Yeah, or not. Or I'll just take that last swig and put it up on my mantelpiece here with some of my other artifacts of interest. But yeah, jacked and juicy lager, what a great idea. And, if Paralira managed to celebrate after winning the tag team champions, you know their buddy Papa Smokes will be there tipping back one of those King cans with those boys.
You know what we need, Papa Smokes? I just came to me. We need a Video Bros Brew. A Video Bros Brew, I think, is exactly what the people of Saskatchewan needs. I think, you imagine how many Video Bros Brews we would sell at a PPW show?
Probably quite a few. Thankfully, I'm well connected, Munson. I know a couple of micro brewers in the city here. Maybe we should get some discussions going.
I don't think that's too shabby of an idea. I like the idea of Papa Smokes. I think that would be a lot of fun. Yeah. Well, you know what? I think, you know, we've hit the halfway mark here on the show. I think it's trying to drop that interesting fact that we teased at the beginning of the program here, Papa Smokes. So a little inside source reached out to me and told me that this comes directly from the wrestler himself. And as I said, we could be on the verge of seeing a star-making debut in Prairie Pro Wrestling. We love a debut in PPW, and I have it on good authority. Don't take this as gospel. Again, card subject to change.
Oh, come on,
we may be seeing the debut of the star child Christian Starr in Prairie Pro Wrestling this Saturday. And for those that don't know, this guy is a whole lot of energy, Papa Smokes. He's exciting. This is the kind of guy who I guarantee when he steps in those ropes for PPW is going to electrify the nation. And so much so that super fan and former guest of Ring Respect Radio, our good boy Basser, who I wish was in the chat right now, because if you go over to Bass's Instagram page, he reposted and clipped a video of when he was on our program just a couple of years back, and we did a PPW mock draft. And that was the time where Basser said if he was to draft anybody to Prairie Pro Wrestling, and this was his legitimate get, somebody that he figures was a very big possibility, he threw out the name Christian Starr at that time. And I have it on good authority. This is a possibility. Melball very familiar with Christian Starr. And again, I cannot absolutely confirm this. I have heard through the grapevine that Christian Starr himself told somebody that he was going to be in Saskatoon this coming Saturday. So I am taking it from a good, reliable inside source on this one, Pop. So you think of that, us being on the inside, we know this shit. We don't. But I take it from my good source that we could be seeing the debut of Christian Starr this Saturday in PPW, and I'm very excited about it.
Well, Munson, you sound a little bit like the Saskatchewan Dave Meltzer here. You're going to make a scoop, but you're going to say, well, and it might be true and it might not be true, just in case whatever happens later. I don't want to be wrong, but no, whether it's going to pan out or not, very exciting, and I'm hoping to see Christian Starr make a debut in Prairie Pro Wrestling. Have seen a tiny bit of his work, have heard some scuttlebutt and a little bit of fans talking online about this guy, looking like a whole bunch of potential. And as we all know, PPW and the PPW Nation love to feature brand new talent, different talent. That's one of the mission statements that we all had when we started this company, was to just not use the same guys over and over, but to bring in some fresh talent. We have the PPW Training Academy. We're going to bring the draft picks up through there. But we're also going to look to the other Prairie provinces and other provinces in Canada to find some of that budding talent, some of that up-and-coming talent to bring to PPW, to work with our wrestlers, and to just bring a different style and a different look to some of the PPW matches and shows. So I'm really hoping that the nation will get behind Christian Starr and really give him the attention he deserves and give him some credit and some energy when he's in there wrestling. Let's make this a big debut, because we could be seeing one of the top stars in the future debuting just this weekend at Los Slamtos.
It's going to be very interesting. Brett Martinez is in the house now, Papa Smokes, joining us over from the OVW crowd. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
Yeah.
Always appreciate you, my friend. Hopefully OVW was kicking ass tonight. I did catch the first half of it. I was really enjoying myself, as always, enjoying the chat over there. A lot of great, wonderful people. They air OVW Rise on Thursday night, so definitely go check it out. Shout out to OVW. But, you know, you mentioned, Papa Smokes, the PPW Academy, and I know we talked very highly of Riley Cruz, who has risen from that academy and shown exactly what you can do when you commit the time and put the passion into working with our PPW Academy. Let's talk about another graduate that I know is going to be at this show, that I know has been making his mark on PPW, and again, we keep saying it, he's only that one win away from really escalating onto some stuff. And we've seen him pick up some wins just recently. There's a lot more momentum in his way. And it's starting to look very marvelous, because Maurice, Waltz will be in the house. And Papa Smokes, I'm curious to know, what do you think's next for the Marvelous one?
Well, I think what's next for Marvelous Maurice Waltz is anything he wants. I've called this guy the blue chip stock of PPW for a long time now. He's been doing nothing but working hard, getting his experience in, getting his matches in, and working against different opponents, learning all the time. And we've seen this guy come from, his first couple of matches in PPW, looking like a rookie, looking a little nervous, letting the nerves get to him and all that stuff. But look at a year and a half, 2 years later, look at the swagger this guy brings now. And you can just, it's so satisfying for us wrestling announcers and journalists to sit on the outside and watch someone develop through time and over time with his reps and with those matches and all that hard work he's putting in. I believe that Maurice Waltz has earned that swagger that he walks out to the ring with now. He's earned that top hat and those sunglasses. He's very much the marvelous one that he claims to be now. And really, the sky's the limit for this guy. So what I think marvelous Maurice Waltz needs to do is just keep keep steady on the road. Just keep going straight. Don't stray from the game plan that you've got now. Don't change anything because he's got all the skill and potential in the world. Keep your nose to the grindstone, Maurice. Keep working hard, and those opportunities and those victories are going to come to you. And I look at this show, Los Slamtos, this coming weekend is the same thing. Whatever opponent he has, whether it's someone he's faced before, someone he hasn't faced before, someone from the preliminary undercard, or someone from the upper card, Maurice Waltz needs to just keep his game plan constant and straight. Keep those taekwondo kicks coming and keep that swagger and confidence, because that's all he really needs, I think, to bring him through each match and to bring him up to where he wants to be in PPW, right in that title picture.
Very much so. Yeah, there's a lot on the horizon for Maurice Waltz, and we can feel that momentum building. Again, mentioning the PPW Academy, anybody who's interested, reach out to PPW on Facebook or the PPW Academy on Facebook, where you can sign up as well, too. We've got the full trainers, training facility, everything like that to teach you how to become a professional wrestler in all the best ways. This is a full proper training center, Papa Spokes. They run you through all of the everything from the basics to making sure you've got the cardio in order to get into that ring. And they make sure everybody is properly ready before they make that debut. Sometimes it's faster than others, depending on who it is. But you know what? Either way, even the people you're seeing in that ring that have graduated the academy, they still show up at the academy to train with the new people coming in. And there's a lot of new people in training right now, Papa Smokes. But we did say a debut across the weekend of Beer Wars and the Saskatoon Berries games in the PPW Battle Royals that took place. We saw the debut of Chris Nasty, another name that has been training at the PPW Academy over some time now. Would have started just, I think, slightly after the time or right around the time of both Maurice Waltz and Riley Cruz, has now finally got his feet wet a little bit. I cannot guarantee that Chris Nasty is definitely on the card or anything like that. That's not confirmed. But I'm curious what you thought of your first looks of Chris Nasty and what we can expect as he starts to integrate himself into the Prairie Pro Wrestling roster.
Well, I'm excited for this, Munson, and I have been for a while now. And I know that Chris Nasty has been training with PPW Academy. I see him at the shows. I see him at the training. He watches the veterans all the time. He watches the trainers all the time. You can see this guy soaking in the knowledge from the sidelines, waiting for his first match, waiting for his opportunity to get in there and show everybody what he's got. Beer Wars was just like a nice little dress rehearsal, so to speak, where you got to get in the battle royal, jump in the pool, get your feet wet, jump into deep water with all the top PPW stars, and see what you can do, see how it feels in there. It's got to be a daunting task to get in there with those guys, with those experienced wrestlers. Are they going to beat you up? Are they going to hurt you? Are you going to suffer a humiliating loss? Are the fans going to mock you? All that stuff that's got to be on a wrestler's mind, making a debut in a city such as Saskatchewan. The fans can be brutal sometimes, but I thought Nasty made quite a good debut here. He got in. He didn't win the battle royal. There was, nobody's winning their first match, but he got in there and did his stuff, and that's what's important. That's how that confidence and skill levels got to get built up slowly through repetition, through practice, and through getting in the ring in front of live crowds. So Chris Nasty making that jump, making that step. I bet it's not easy, but he got in there and did it. And you never have a second first time. Once you've had your first time, you never have to worry about the first time ever again. So it's move forward. And I'm hoping that's what Chris Nasty's going to do. I hope he gets a match on this card because he's got to get some more reps in. Just get more comfortable in the ring, get his whole move set and all that stuff cemented so that he can take on more opponents and move upwards in the ranks in PPW.
And I spoke to him over that weekend, Papa Smokes. He was excited to be making his debut, finally getting into the ring. He's been waiting a long time for it. And I know for a fact he was at the academy training every single day for quite some time to prepare for it, to be ready. He wanted to make that statement. He wanted to let management know, like, guys, I'm ready. You don't have to keep calling people from all across the globe to come into Prairie Pro Wrestling. I'm right here. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to fight, and I'm ready to show the nation why I deserve to be in this ring. And I could see that in him. I could see, like, you talk about him absorbing and watching the veterans and everything like that, but I could also see that fire that's lighting in Chris Nasty. He's been waiting. He's been right there behind the curtain, ready to go every single time, Papa Smokes. And I see that fire in him. I can't wait to see it unleash more. Like we said, we saw the development of Riley Cruz and Maurice Waltz over the last couple of years as they've progressed by getting those reps in. And I'm curious to see the journey of Chris Nasty over the next little while as he begins to give his journey in Prairie Pro Wrestling and in pro wrestling in general. So very much curious to see it. Curious to see as well, too. We got a lot of other trainees working in behind the scenes right now, Pop Spokes, and at any given time, once they're ready to go, we are going to have some very exciting new prospects and blue chips in Prairie Pro Wrestling that have been all trained right here in Saskatoon. And it's an exciting time because I've never seen this much talent coming forth in Saskatoon Pro Wrestling right here in our hometown.
You said it, Munson. That was the word I was going to use too, is it's exciting. This time is exciting because you know what? PPW is a Saskatchewan company. We're the biggest wrestling company and one of the only big wrestling companies in this whole province, which covers a lot of ground. But what we need to be doing and what we've always said since we formed this company is that we have to develop Saskatchewan wrestlers. We very much value our friends from other provinces and other cities who are heroes, in my opinion, for driving all that way and coming to do our shows. We love them. We appreciate them. We can't do it without them. But one of PPW's mission statements was to develop Saskatchewan wrestlers through the academy and bring them up because we have other events to do where we can't rely on out-of-town talent all the time. We've got to have our local boys and girls who are wrestlers around in this city so that we can do promotional events, so we can do things like the Berries game and Beer Wars. Of course, we had some of our out-of-town talent for those shows too, but we can't rely on that all the time. We have to be part of the force that brings Saskatchewan wrestling up to snuff, and we have to produce those wrestlers. Plus, we're PPW, we're Saskatchewan's big company, and we are Saskatchewan Pro Wrestling. We're proud of that, and that's why we want to have homegrown wrestlers appearing on our cards and appearing elsewhere, representing our great province of Saskatchewan all over Canada and anywhere else they may roam.
Brilliantly said by the man wearing a Winnipeg Blue Bombers jersey here tonight. But
hey, that's
yes, I know it's a different sport altogether, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, Papa Smokes. It is the mission statement of Prairie Pro Wrestling to develop those Saskatchewan-based wrestlers and bring them up to snuff, as you say, and to make that academy be where people want to go. That eventually, you know, you always hear about people wanting to go to Alberta, go out east, to go to the States for their training, but we want people to want to train in Prairie Pro Wrestling. We want them to want to come here. We want this to be the place that people need and want to be to get their education in professional wrestling. And I'm a firm believer in it being the right direction. And that's not a slight at any other school out there. There are some phenomenal schools, especially here in Canada, that people can go to, and they're all great. But man, Prairie Pro Wrestling does a phenomenal job. And much more than ever right now with the amount of talent we've got there and hard workers that we've got there. It has felt so much like a family. Like every time you walk in, there's so many people coming up and shaking hands, and they're setting up all day. They are tearing down. They are doing everything. They are getting in there and paying their dues, Papa Smokes. And I am thankful for every single one of them. And this is going to be the group that really sets that standard to make people that much more interested. And they're going to be ushering in that next group, and that next group that comes after that, until we've got an entire crew, Papa Spoke. Something we've been doing this with whoever we could find since 2019. And I tell you, man, it's great to finally have a crew building and being able to have those people to support and get the job done and be able to run these shows, because as the shows have gotten bigger, there's need for more people in certain roles.
Yeah. And like you say, it has kind of almost formed into a strange family of sorts. And I mean, think of what Prairie Pro Wrestling Academy is, the training school. Not only do we have top instructors, including Crash Crimson, who's been a veteran around these parts and many parts for a long time. This guy's old school. He was trained by old school wrestlers as well, as were some of the wrestlers that he trained. It's an old school mentality. I mean that in a positive way. The training is tough. Munson, you've been there. You've bumped as well. And the training is tough. No question about it. It's tough because wrestling is a tough business. Those guys aren't trying to be mean to you. They're not trying to be sadistic towards you. They're trying to get you ready for the business and anything that might happen, because as we all know, stuff happens in wrestling matches all the time. Emotions get out of control. All kinds of stuff can happen during a match. Wrestlers have to be ready for any eventuality that might happen, including, unfortunately, injuries happen in the ring sometimes, miscues, all kinds of stuff can happen in the ring. That's why these wrestlers have to be tough. They have to know pain. They have to know adversity. They have to know discomfort. They have to know discipline. And they have to be able to make their way through a series of matches, through all their matches they're going to have in our company and in other companies across the country. You got to be ready. Prairie Pro Wrestling Academy will get you ready. It'll be tough. You'll give off your blood, your sweat, and your tears while you train for these guys, and it'll be tough. You may want to quit. You may want to throw the boots down and walk out sometimes, but they will get you ready. And if you stick with it, you can be like a Riley Cruz or like a marvelous Maurice Waltz and start getting there in the business, start getting there in Canadian wrestling, start having matches that you're proud of, start building a career and a portfolio that you and all of us that support these wrestlers can be proud of and represent Saskatchewan in the way it deserves to be represented.
You bet. Astrid joining us here, Papa Smokes. Astrid, thanks for joining us. You can always catch Astrid every single Tuesday night on Taking Over with Old Ed as they do some indie wrestling talk and reviews of their own as well, too. Lots of great indie wrestling action here on the Channel OLE podcast. But yeah, Papa Smokes, the Academy, it's hopping. It's a great place to be. It's fun. It's exciting. There's actually, believe it or not, there was a commercial shot. No need to you're here, Astrid. That's all that matters. No need for apologies here. We're just happy to see you.
So polite.
Yeah, always. This is a cool little tidbit, and I think it's airing on some commercials here in Saskatchewan here very shortly. I got sent to, I'll have to show you, remind me to show you on Saturday. It got sent to our socials. I'll show you. But what it is there was a commercial filmed at the PPW Academy training facility. I'm sure you heard about it, but I've seen the actual commercial now, and a little bit of they added in the video, the behind the scenes filming of it and prepping for how the commercial showed up. So it's kind of a cool little video to watch. I'll have to show it to you on Saturday before the commercial actually comes available, but it was also cool to see our ring used in another form of media as well, too, and getting into commercials. I mean, PPW has managed to be involved with radio, write-ups in magazines and publications online, all sorts of stuff, being on the local news and everything here in Saskatchewan. I mean, it has been such a cool experience, and we always aren't too sure what the next cool experience is going to be, but they're always just around the corner for Prairie Pro Wrestling, Papa Smokes, and I'm here for it. I'm excited for it, and I'm excited for this Saturday at Los Slamtos. And my favorite thing I'm most excited about is the PPW Nation. I miss the hell out of you guys, even though it's only been since, July? I still miss the hell out of all of you. I can't wait to see your smiling faces at the door. Give it out some high fives, some hugs, everything it takes to get you all pumped for this Saturday. PPW presents Los Slamtos. The Nation makes it all worthwhile every time, Papa Smokes.
Oh, for sure. And I've talked about this on this show before, Munson, but one of the things that gets me so revved up about a PPW show is the smell in the air, the hot dog water, the cigarettes, the stale sweat off of the ring canvas, all the stuff.
That's just from me.
Yeah, some of it's from you, Munson. You're always dripping like a lunatic at these shows, but it's that smell, Munson. Just the same thing as going to a hockey game when you go into the barn and it smells like hockey. Wrestling has that smell too, the hot dogs and the cigarettes and the puffs from outside, the beer spilt on the floor and all that sweat soaked into the canvas. Munson, it's just heaven to me.
Can't wait. It's going to be an awesome time. Like I said earlier, seats are sold out. General admission is on sale as we speak, but that will be closing up. Most likely, I would gamble by tomorrow, because when it comes to Saturday, there won't be tickets available in advance. You will have to get them at the door, and they go up by $5. So if you want to get your general admission standing room only tickets for $15, reach out to Prairie Pro Wrestling on social media today. Otherwise, $20 at the door, and a very limited number of you are going to get through to be a part of the live action of PPW presents Los Slamtos, the hottest ticket in all of Saskatoon, and our last stop on the way to the biggest show of the year, the Ring of Horrors, coming up in October. But Papa Smokes, we're just about at the top of the hour, so I'm going to go ahead and say, in the meantime and in between time, why don't you tell the wonderful people what you got coming up and where they can find you next?
Well, each Thursday, what I got coming up is Ring Respect Radio. I'm always here with my partner, Bobby Munson. We can be found on OLE Podcasts and Video Bros Network. Other than that, I can be found on social media at Elon Musk's Free Speech Wonderland, known as X. I am at Smokes_Papa. I also have a profile on Twitch. It is at Papa_Smokes_. Well,
Papa Smokes, I'm going to throw it back to you. I think you might want to tell the people what we got coming up next Thursday here on Ring Respect Radio.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that too, and I've been working and starting my research and watching some matches for another trip through the territories coming up by request, although it was on our list already, but we had some fans and some viewers requesting that we do Houston, Texas. Promoter Paul Bosch, that has been one of the territories, one of the big ones we've been wanting to do. You remember, Munson, that early in the days of Ring Respect Radio, we watched on stream a couple of old matches from Houston and Paul Bosch. So we're going to have a great time covering this territory. We'll go through the whole history. We'll go through some of the champions, some of the journeymen that traveled through, the promotions, the owners, the drama, all of that stuff. Tripped through the territories, your historical podcast from the Video Bros.
It's going to be fantastic. Looking forward to it. And as I just popped it up on the screen, Mangler saying, we'll see and smell you fine boys on Saturday. Thank you guys. What a great comment that is. Can't wait to see you on Saturday as well too. But as for myself, Bobby Munson, my ticker's down below at the X. It's Real Bobby Munson, Instagram, Threads, Video Bros SK, Twitch, Video Bro _Bobby Munson, and over at the Blue Sky, BobbyMunson.bsky.social. As for what I got coming up after a long day of PPW action this Saturday, where, hey, even over on YouTube, you can catch Papa Smokes and I calling all the action on a brand new match, as Zoe Sager is going to be taking on T.Y. Jackson. But we're also going to be live there at Los Slamtos on Saturday, taking it all in, filming, getting things ready, making sure that show goes off and you have a great time. But then I'm going to be back Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern time, 9 o'clock SK time. It's Point of View. We're going to be talking about the weekend sports, and we're going to be bringing you our next round of predictions in the NFL week. So you're going to want to make sure you do not miss that. Good night to you as well, too, Astrid. Thank you for showing up. Appreciate you being out here tonight. And, of course, you can find our show this Sunday. You can find this show on Thursday nights. You can find Astrid on Taking Over, and you can find our friend Melball is in the chat as well, too, doing shows right here at OLE Podcast, Papa Smokes. You can find us on all social media as well as YouTube and Twitch, where we appreciate follows. We appreciate subs. We appreciate hitting that notification bell. We appreciate you giving a thumbs up and leaving a comment. And there's something new coming to YouTube, and I'm going to push the hell out of this. I don't know if it's in all markets, but there is a new thing called Hype. And Hype is going to be for small creators such as OLE Podcasts and the Video Bros and Prairie Pro Wrestling. If you're under a certain amount of subscribers, everybody who has a YouTube account is going to have a certain amount of Hype points that they can give to specific videos. And we would be absolutely in full appreciation if those Hype points found their way to any of the work that we do, because what that does is that hypes you up a special Hype list of creators to watch. And the further up you go, the more you're going to be pushed out by the algorithm and seen by more eyes across the globe. So if you can help us out, if Hype points are available in your area and you're able to deliver the Hype points to OLE Podcast, Prairie Pro Wrestling, or the Video Bros, we appreciate you. As always, we appreciate everything you do for us. But that's going to be it for us this week here on Ring Respect Radio. Until next week with a trip through the territories, we leave you with the rest of this week's calendar. Take care, everybody.